This is a friendly reminder to loosen that band around your ponytail. This is my traction alopecia that resulted from tight hairstyles I enjoyed doing in my late teen years. I thought since my hair was thick and coarse, it could withstand the abuse. Absolutely not. Black hair is very fragile.
This is called traction alopecia, and it's a hair loss condition that impacts a lot of black women, but they're not the only ones who develop this hair loss. Other women do as well, and so do men. Together, we're going to explore the root causes for traction alopecia. I'm also going to provide you with practical tips that you can implement today to prevent traction alopecia, and we're going to explore medical treatment options. You might be someone who likes to wear your hair in tight hairstyles. Unfortunately though, you're putting yourself at risk for developing traction alopecia. And the reason for that is because you're putting repeated and constant tension on your hair, which is causing inflammation to the hair follicle, and ultimately the hair falls out. And once the hair is gone, it's gone. This is known as scarring alopecia. So it's important to be able to identify that you have traction alopecia sooner than later. By no means am I encouraging you never to wear tight hairstyles. I understand, sometimes it's convenient. I just want to warn you about certain hairstyles that put you at most risk for developing traction alopecia. If you're someone who likes to wear cornrows, weaves, put your hair in dreadlocks, tight ponytails, if you wear hair extensions or clips, or if you're a swimmer and you wear a swim cap, or you put your head back with a bandana on a routine basis, you're putting yourself at risk, especially if you wear these hairstyles on a repeated basis. It's also worth pointing out that tight hairstyles sometimes come from cultural influence. So we've seen that 17% of young African American girls have developed signs of traction alopecia from having very tight ponytails at a young age. We've also seen Chinese women who wear tight ponytails develop traction alopecia, and we've seen Sikh men as well as Turkish Islamic women who wear very tight scarves around their hair develop traction alopecia. And of course, if you're a female athlete or you're a dancer and you wear your hair in a ponytail, that also helps to contribute to developing traction alopecia. So how do you determine whether you have traction alopecia? Well, first and foremost, we want to see, are you having any recession or thinning of your hairline? This is commonly known as the fringe sign. Do you have any thinning of your temples or of your vertex? Because traction alopecia can impact anywhere on the scalp. We specifically want to see, are there areas where the hairstyles are causing such tension where you're getting baldness or thinning of hair in certain regions? Do you have any tenderness when we touch the area? Is there any pain? Is there any presentation of papules or pustules? Redness. These would be signs that you have traction alopecia. And of course, if you have complete hair loss in certain regions of your scalp due to these tight hairstyles, this would signal that you have traction alopecia. Now that you have an appreciation for what causes this hair loss and how to identify whether you have traction alopecia, let's talk about my tips. So my first recommendation would be to wear no tight hairstyles. But I understand that's not practical. So instead, what I would do is I would switch it up. Let's say you wear tight braids on Monday, on Tuesday, you should loosen it up. If you can't do that and switch it off on a daily basis, switch it off on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. This is going to be a critical step that you're going to need to take in order to preserve your hair follicles. If you don't do this, you put your hair follicles at risk for falling out, and then you can't regrow your hair. My second tip has to do with wigs. When you wear a wig, make sure it's not pulling on your natural hair. I would opt for a cap that is either satin or silk, and I would avoid a nylon or a cotton cap because those caps specifically can cause more traction and friction to your hair, which could be very damaging and contribute to traction alopecia. My third tip for you is to consider doing a daily scalp massage for about 5 minutes. And this will help improve blood circulation to the scalp, but it's also going to help loosen some of those tight hairstyles. Now, I think its benefit is limited, but it's a homeopathic option you might want to consider. Another thing that you should consider is incorporating oils into your routine. So what this will do is it will help improve the scalp health. It'll help improve any inflammation as well as nourish your hair follicles. So oils that I think are beneficial: rosemary oil, coconut oil, castor oil, jojoba oil. These oils will help decrease the inflammation and in some cases will also help promote hair growth. And then we get to medical options. First and foremost, I would recommend using foam Rogaine, 5%, which you can get over the counter. You can apply this once a day in the evening time or the morning time, and you apply it to where you're experiencing thinning or hair loss. There's also the option of getting Kenalog steroid injections that you get in an office, either performed by a dermatologist or a hair transplant surgeon. And this is very successful in terms of reversing traction alopecia hair loss if it's caught early enough. Now, if you've completely lost hair follicles because it was too late for you to change your hairstyles, to loosen those braids up, and you've lost that hair, the medical options are not going to help. You're going to need a hair transplant. A hair transplant can help you completely reverse the traction alopecia that caused the scarring to your scalp where no hair grows. Now, the only thing I do have to warn you about is that if you do get a hair transplant, that does not mean you should go back to wearing tight hairstyles. If you go back to wearing tight hairstyles after a hair transplant, you will continue to cause traction alopecia. You'll lose all that hair from the hair transplant. Anyways, I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions about traction alopecia that I've not addressed, please leave your questions below. And as always, I'm here on your journey to help you address your hair loss.